Okay, so now we're ready to move to the super 5x5 portion of it. Now I already went through the different pieces, so we'll start once again, say with the green side here. These are all the centers, but they're just the centers of a super 5x5. So basically what that means is, just like with this, I'm going to turn everything, well, we'll do the green here. I'm just going to orient all of the centers. As you can see me do with this, turn all the greens up. Turn this where it's supposed to be here, which it already is, then I can turn this over here. So that's the first part. Now whatever I do with this outer 5x5 will not touch the inner 3x3 at all. So I just have to rotate this around until this is in, which will automatically mean this, this, and this. So we've seen this before. This is no different. I'll turn this guy in. Luckily the movement is a lot more smooth with the stop layer. And there's, good. This moves over to here, and this goes over here. Okay, so basically we've rotated all of our centers, so that's good. Now remember, our side are these guys, this, 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 and this. Now let's see if our theory works, and let's see if we can skew our perspective in terms of solving this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the centers one by one by one by one by one by doing what I call my sliding U technique. So here's the green. What I'm going to do, it's just going to be easy. Normally what I do is I would assemble them and then I put them in, but it's going to be a little difficult with that. So this is already in. But what I mean by that is, here's a green and red over here. I'm going to move this in like so, turn it, move it across, and turn. That's the basic technique that I'm going to use for each one of these. So if I see another green, here's a green. This one belongs over here. So I'm going to move it up like so, bat it to the side, move this up like this, bat it to the side. Now undo what I did. Okay, for me this is going to be the easiest way to keep my perspective on things, because it's a pretty simple. This green and white goes here. So double turn it here, so that's in. Turn it here, double turn it like so, move it the other way. If you like more instruction on how I'm doing what I'm doing, I can get into that later, but again, that's really not the point of this. White and, well, purple, I guess. Move it up in here from the L position, move it to the R position, move it up with the R, move it back to the L, and like so. So one by one I can put them in, and it's really not very difficult. Now, can I do the same thing here? Well, first off, I have to make sure that I'm putting everything right. So I'm looking for the green with the yellow and white, and it's going to be up here somewhere. Well, here's a green, here's a yellow, and here's the white. So could it be that it's just this one that belongs up here? The yellow is here, so yes, this is here. Now this is not on the same side as this, as we've stated. So basically this needs to make its way over to here. Best way to do that is I'm going to move this down to here, move it down to here, and then I'm going to take this whole side here and just go kersplat. I'm just undoing it. I'm going to redo it later. Now I'm going to use my technique to put this in. So, and it's going to be easy to remember how I move this back. So I'm going to take this and I simply move it in position over here, in this position. Now just like I did with this one, I'm going to take this, which is in this position, and move it out of the way. Now I'm going to move this guy down, move it from the left, which will move this out of the way. So as you can see, as I'm moving this down, this got moved out of the way, right over here. Now I move this back. I'm going to move this back up, like so. Bring this back over here, and I'll move this side back up, which will take this and wheel this back into here, like thus. And now I take this and I simply move it back. So now you can see this is in. I'm going to move this back in over here. So this is in, and this is in. Joy of joys, it is actually working. Okay. Now once I do that, I'm going to keep going with this over here. I'm just going to keep putting these in. So here's a green. I need a green and yellow. Here's green and white. So that doesn't belong here, but the green and yellow one does. Here's a green and yellow, so this might. But if I move it all the way back here, it doesn't match to here. Could I make it match? Well, no, because I've got this. This is a green and yellow, so maybe this belongs here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to the side, down here. I'm going to move it basically as far away as possible. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move this whole side here. So now this here can move to here. And again, sliding U technique, so to speak. Move this in, like so. So this is in over here. Move this in a way to where a right move will move this as well. So I'm going to move it to the side here. Move it down from the right, like thus. Okay, move this back. Move this back from the left here. Bring it in here, and move it back from the right. And move this here. And then move this back over here. So now we have, this is in, and this is in. Don't worry about these. That'll be put in when we put this guy in, and you can see this is in over here. Okay, what about this one? How about the green and white? Green and white. How about this one? Will this one fit? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to find a great home. It might if I wheel this guy down. Make sure I'm lined up here. Nope, that's not going to work so good. And even if it does, well, let's assume it's not the right one. So I need a green and white, green and white. Here is a green and yellow. That ain't it. Green and white. Aha! Oh, it's perfect. It's right below it. I have but to open my eyes. Anyway, this is easy. So move it down from the right. Move it to the left. Down from the left. Move it back to the right. Up from the right. Back to the left. Up from the left. And move it back. So you can see this is all in. And as I'm doing that, you can see this being filled in and this being filled in. So this is all fine. This is the equivalent of having placed, not the entire center, but basically placing this, this, and this. I placed one solid side over here, or solid 1 by 3 by 3 bar. So now I'm going to move over here. I got to find the yellow. Yellow with green and blue. Is it up here? Do we get lucky? Nah, be too easy that way. How about this? No, well, this is an orange, so that's not it. How about this? This has a blue and this has a green. So that might be right up our alley, and it is. So this guy, now, yeah, this guy belongs up here. This guy here. So move it down here from the center. Move it either to the right or to the left. I'll move it to the left over here, then down from the left. Move it back to the center, undo what I did up from the center, back to the left, up from the left, this comes back here, and we like it. So we can see this is now where we want it to be, as is this, as is this. Is this correct? Yes. So this is done. We filled in another 1 by 3 by 3 bar. Now we want to put this one in. So even though these two appear to be right, they're actually not, because this is green and not blue. So this is not the right one, because these two are the same as this. So don't be fooled. Anyway, I think it's probably this guy here. So we're going to move this all the way down. And now we've got to move this to here so it's just above that. That way this with its, oh, right over here. Well, no, this is not the right one. The colors weren't quite matching, so let's find another one. No worries, no problems. I'm looking for another blue, another blue, another blue. How about this? White and yellow, this is a good contender. So I'm going to move this to the bottom, and we're going to swing this guy around. Now this blue with this white will end up over here. That's what we want. So blue comes down, move it from the middle, off to the left, down from the left, off to the right, well, off to the middle rather, up from the right, back to the middle, up from the middle. Now this comes in, and we simply move this back. Okay, so as you can see, we like this better. This is now correct. These are different pieces, but they're the correct pieces. It's bounded with this. Okay. Now we want to do this guy. So this is going to be the blue and white. Blue and white, blue and white. Here's a blue and white over here. So I'm going to bring this down, move this across, and now we're going to follow suit. Move it down from the right, move it to the left, down from the left, right rather, move it back to the left, back over here, and move it up, and this turns back over here. Alright, this comes over to here, and now we can see this is good and this is good. So all we have left is this white one to match with this, and we've got our first 5x5 side. This yellow, no, we're looking for blue and green. I just have one more. So that's going to be this guy. So I'm going to move this over here. Is that a green here? Yes, so that'll match up over here. So down from the middle, turn it over here, to the left, down from the left, turn it up here, up from the left, middle rather, move it up here, and up from the left, and across. This moves here, and we're good. So you can see all of these are in. What this represents is the first side center of my 5x5 portion, the super 5x5. All I've got to do is follow suit the same way with all of the others here. Okay, so we're going to pick it up from here where we've just solved the first side of our 5x5. So for our next side, we've got a couple to choose from. My suggestion, and the way that I usually do supercubes or any type of puzzle, is solve the opposite side, which is this. The reason is because we're going to get this down to the last two sides, and you don't want the last two sides to be opposite. So what I would do is, having solved the center, by the way, when I said side, I meant center. We didn't solve the entire side, we just solved the center of the 5x5. That's what these are. So if I solve this, then I'm now going to solve the center of the opposite side. And this is pretty easy. I'm going to draw upon the other centers to put these in. So for instance, this guy comes up to here. So we move it up from the middle, bat it to the side, move it up from here, bat it back, then move it down, bat it back, and move it down. So in this way, I can slowly put things in bit by bit, one by one, and solve solve the center over here rather. So here's purple and orange, yellow rather, which is going to come here. This comes up, turn from the left, then to the right, down, down, down. And in so doing, I won't destroy this at all. I won't change that in any way. So this will come up to here, and I'm just going to follow suit with that. So you can see it's a pretty straightforward way of getting the next center. That's what I'm going to do with this. So as such, I'm going to turn it upside down, and we're going to get this side over here. And we're going to be drawing upon these sides here, which are equivalent to, well, all the other sides over here. Oops. Okay. So let's see. What I'm looking for is I'm going to look for the blue, but the blue with the yellow and the white. Here's a blue. That's a red, so that's not what I'm looking for. Is it up here, perhaps? No. I know it's not this one. Here's a white, and here's a yellow over here. So it's actually going to be this guy. So what I'm going to do is simply move this up. Now, I don't want to move this guy, so I'm going to actually have to move him all the way down here. Turn this over here, and I'll move this. Like so. Now I can try to move this guy into here. It should not disrupt this. Move it down from the middle. Turn it to the right, down from the right, turn it back, move it up from the middle, turn it back here, and move it up here. Now if I should accidentally place something out from the original center, it's not too hard to put it back in. And then we move this back in like so, and then we take this back across here. Didn't change any of these guys, didn't affect my center from here, but it did place this, and I know that this is correct because this is right and this is right. So let's keep following suit with this. Let's keep doing this. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for the blue part here with yellow. Here's a blue and here's a white, so that ain't it. Here's a blue and a red. So that's not it. Here's a blue and here's a yellow. So it might very well be this guy. So I'm going to move this into position and just do that same technique. Down from the right, turn it, down from the left, turn it back, up from the right, turn it to the left, up from the left, and turn it in. And now we've got this in. And I always check to see just to make sure that none of this was taken out. So in this way, I can put things in. So this is here. Is this correct? This happens to be correct. So we're good. This and this is correct. So now we move on to this side. This is not correct. So I need to find the correct green one. And the correct green one is perhaps here. It's going to be surrounded by white and yellow. This green is surrounded by, nope, not the right one. Let's see, how about this? Yellow and white, so it looks like this is a contender for the correct one. So we're going to move this into place and do the same thing. Bring it down through the middle, move it to the right or to the left, could be either or. Then move it down from here, bring it back up, or move it back over here, bring the middle back up, move it here, and bring this back up. Move this back, casually put this one back, and let's see where we're at. So this is in, we know that this is right, and we know that this is right. Green with a white. Here's green and not the correct one. That's green and orange. This is spoken for. Here's a green and yellow again. It's got to be one of these guys, you think? Green and white, so it's this guy here. Okay, so this needs to find its way to here, so I'm going to simply move this all the way over to here so that this green can find its way here. Down from the left, move it to the right, down from the right, swing it back to the left, up from the left, swing it back to the right, up from the right, and swing this back. So now this is in, and we just move this guy back. Kersplat. Okay, now I need a white one here. Did I get lucky? Did it happen to be this one? Well, we need a white surrounded by green and blue. This is white surrounded by red and orange, so that's not the correct one. How about, well, this guy? Nope, same wrong ones that it's surrounded with. Well, yeah, actually white, so that's wrong. How about this? Blue and green, so it appears to be this one here. So this is easy to move. Move this down where it needs to be. Move it down from the middle, off to the right, down from the right, swing it back to the middle, up from the middle, back to the right, and up from the right, and back you go. Okay, now before we get too confident, there may be a couple twists and turns because now I'm dreading that last two layers. Okay, so here's, I need the white and the blue, which might be this guy. So I have to figure a way to get this to here, which might require moving it like this, and it does. So we'll move this down like so. Well, let me think about this. Yeah, that should work, I think. Okay, I think I almost made it a little more complicated than I needed to. Down over here, move this like so. Down over here. move it back, move it up, and then move this up, and then move back. Okay, so now we have this in. So this whole center is done. Opposite centers are done. This is good, and this is good. So all this is done. Now what I want to start doing is, now that I have these opposites, start getting some of the adjacent sides. So this is the top and the bottom, and then turn it like this. So when I turn it like this, these guys are out of the way. So too these guys are out of the way. So now I can work on this layer over here. So what belongs here? Well, is it this? Yeah, actually this one belongs up here. So the way that I'm going to do that is move this all the way to the end, which is like I'm solving this center and grabbing it from this side. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, then move it to the right, 1, 2, 1, 2, rather to the left rather. Then move it back, move it back up with 1, 2, 1, 2. Move it back over here to the left, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we simply move this back. So having done that, this is now in, and just to be sure, we have not touched any of these guys over here. So it's more of a clean solve. So this is in, all these guys are in, so we're doing pretty well. Now we want to put this guy in. So this is going to be blue and red. Let's find a blue and red. Here's a blue. And here's a red. So it's going to get easier and easier to find these. But does this belong here? And it doesn't, because this will end up over here. So it's actually not that. Here is, well, no, green and white. Okay, let's stare at this again. Oh, right here, blue and red. So I think we like this one. This one has to go over to here. So how are we going to put that in? Well, first off, let's move this all the way to the bottom. Having done that, now we can make the magic happen. Move this in from the right, move it to the left, down from the left, back to the right, up from the right, back to the left, up from the left, and back. Okay, so we can now get this back in. Okay, so this is good over here. We move to this side. Is this correct? Yep. Is this correct? Well, as nice as it looks here, it's not the right piece because this isn't right. So I'm looking for the orange and green, which happens to be right here. So this has to move its way in. So I'm going to move this down to here. Plop it here. Now this is going to make its way in. Down from the left, move to the right. Down from the right, back to the left, up from the left, move it to the right, up from the right, and move it back. And bring this back in. Okay, move this back up. Alright, so we're doing well over here. This is good. Now I have to find the green one. Green with a red and orange. Is it this? Here's an orange and here's a red for this green. So I'm going to say that it is. So I'm going to move it down to the bottom here and turn from the middle, out of the way, from the left, back to the middle, up from the middle. Now, you see me overly cautious with my movements. I can probably turn it a lot quicker, but I'm just a little too nervous. I don't want it to pop on me. Don't want to get too overconfident. So this is where it needs to be, over here. We can pop that one back in. Okay, green and red. Here's a green and orange. Green and red over here, but I think this might like being here, so maybe I won't touch that right now, but there's this green and red, which can so easily come down to here. Down from the left, move, swing it to the right, down from the right, swing it to the left, up from the left, swing it to the right. So I'm not getting into the algorithms with this because you just have to realize that this is 5x5 strategy. The best I can give you right now is perspective on this. The rest is the fun of the challenge of trying to make that perspective work. Okay, coming over here, we need to get the correct red one. It's not this because this is the wrong piece here, as is this. We need a better red. Here, this is blue and green, so I lay odds it's probably this guy here. So I move this to the bottom here, so that way I can swing this whole portion like this, and now this is put in. Down from the middle, you can move it to the right or to the left. I'm going to move it to the right. Down from the right, move it back, up from the middle, back to the right, and up from the right, and this moves back in. And now we quickly and succinctly put this guy back in, and whatever we turn back. Splat. So, and then we turn this back here. So good, 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 and good. And we look back here, was anything put out? Good, 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 good. That's another center. Good, 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 and good. I'm going to want to move this back into, there we go. Okay, so now we have the equivalent of 3 of these centers here, top and bottom, and then 1 to the side. So it's the equivalent of top and bottom and any 1 to the side. I'll quickly get one in here just for the purposes of illustration. Okay, I just put this in. Now, one of the discoveries that I made is I didn't have to necessarily do the swinging U technique for that because you don't have anything obstructing this. So you weren't going to do any issues with that. That was one of the advantages of doing the top and the bottom. So I did that anyway, but that's okay. It kind of gets you in the mood for what you're supposed to do. So top and bottom and 1 adjacent. Now what I want to do is I want to keep it top and bottom, but do another adjacent one. And that one is going to be swung in by these 2 centers over here. So what I mean by that is I got a top and bottom and an adjacent one. So it's like this over here. Now I want another top and bottom, where this is top and bottom, and another adjacent, which is this guy over here. Well, actually, I don't want to do it like that, because then what I'm doing is I'm doing top and bottom and top and bottom. That's what I want to prevent. So I don't want to do this one. Instead, I want to do this one, because this one is adjacent to this guy over here and still keeps these at the top and the bottom, which leaves the final 2 adjacent to each other, this one and this one. So I'm going to do this one over here. Now the pieces should be easier to find now. So I look here, this is orange and red, and that's what I'm looking for, orange and red. So it's quite a simple feat to just move this in like so. Turn it here, move it down, turn it up, move it up, cross, and turn. And just be on the safe side, always check what we just did and everything is looking okay. And this is in the right place. This white one is not, so it's probably going to be this white one over here. Well, this one is going to come down here, so that's not too difficult. Move this here from the left, down to the right, move it down on the right, move it back to the left, up from the left, move it to the right, and up from the right, move it back. So now we're good over here. So turn it to here. This is the wrong red. See where the correct red is going to come from. Correct red is, well, we're not going to borrow it from this layer, of course. Here, no. There's only so many places, and it's probably going to be this guy here. Yeah, it's this guy over here. So this has to make it to here. So how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to take this and move it to the opposite side here, right here. And then I'm just going to go 1, 2, 1, 2 from the middle, move it to the left. Make sure it's lined up. 1, 2, 1, 2 from the left, back to the middle, 1, 2, 1, 2 from the middle, back to the left, 1, 2, 1, 2 from the left, and move it in. Okay, all the while making sure we didn't destroy anything. So this is indeed correct. Okay, how about the other red? So this red needs to make it to here. The way I'm going to do that is move this over here, turn it upside down, and move this like so. Now this goes here and this goes here. Well, no, actually this is where it needs to be, so we just need the red and white. So move it down here from the right, swing it to the left, down on the left, swing it back to the right, up on the right, swing it to the left, and up on the left, swing it back. And this guy moves back over here, and then we can move this back here. Okay, we're still cool. This is good here, move this over here. This is the wrong yellow, as you can see, wrong colors. It's actually the opposite. So where's the correct one? Well, the correct one, and like I say, there's only so many places to find it. And that would have to be here. It's got no choice, it's got to be this one. So we're going to take this, move this puppy down from this way. Now this is going to come down to here. So all the way down from the middle, swing to the right or left, doesn't matter. Down on the right, swing it back, up from the middle, back to the left, and up from the left, and swing it back. And now this goes kersplat. Kersplat. Okay, this is good here. How about the yellow and orange? Actually move this in right. Okay, so the yellow and orange. Let's see, yellow and orange, right over here. It's this guy over here. So I have to swing this all the way around, bring it 2 times on the right, move it to the left, 2 times on the left, back to the right, 2 times on the right, move it to the left, two times on the left. So we see it coming together. This is correct here. Are we good? Nope, this orange is the wrong one, so we have to shade that in right. So where's the correct orange? Well, there's only so many places it's going to be. It's going to be in this plane somewhere, or it's going to be in this plane somewhere, probably here. But nope, it's the wrong one. Wrong colors on the other side. So it's got to be taken from here. It's got to be this guy. Don't even have to do too much time looking at it. It's got to be that guy there. So this needs to come up to here. Guess I can move this like so. And I'll move him like thus. Down you go in the middle. Off to the left. Down you go on the left, up from the middle, or back to the middle rather, up on the middle, and up on the left. And this turns back. Okay, quickly we put this back in here, and then we wheel this back around. And this also wheels back around, just putting these centers back in, just to keep my perspective. Okay, so this side is now done. So what do we have? This is all fine here. The one just opposite, that's all fine here. The one just adjacent here, that's all fine. And now the new one that was adjacent that we did, which was this is all fine. So what we have then is we have how many centers? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're down to the last 2. The last 2 centers of a real 5x5 5-layer supercube. How are we going to do that?